Hi Pisces, I am here, your metal dog, again to give you a reading. Your reading last time was quite intense, and it was one of the first readings where I just had to acknowledge that something happens in reading tarot that is really awesome and a little bit addicting, which is tapping into another person's or another being's or another energy that was not mine, and into a very powerful story. And learning, I have beloved Pisces in my life and my personal history, and I also think what I learned in that reading is a lot about just your nature. And so what came up was that incredibly generous heart. That means that sometimes people can exploit you and your generosity. So anyway, perhaps that reading was on for you, but perhaps it's a story that you've lived through, as I have. I related to your story in the last reading. But perhaps it was just getting to know you. So let's see what your story is today, here in the month of December, the end of 2020 here. And I am not wishing 2020 away myself, although it has been an intense year. I try not to wish life away. I don't know why I feel compelled to say that, so take it or leave it. Let's find out about you. Try not to be a really self-centered reader, but it comes out. Okay, so I'm pulling an oracle card for you from Queen of the Moon Oracle, and this card, wisdom. You climbing on top of a pile of books, reaching for the moon. I see you studying. It's the card 22. That number is can be considered a power number. But yeah, you are not only climbing up on a boat, books balanced on a boat, reaching for the stars. It looks a little bit as though you were about to write in the sky. Are you about to write a book? Are you going to make a mark? Move the stars. Very powerful image, wisdom. So that is certainly a sensation that wisdom can give you, is a sensation of power. Underlying, we have abundance, this beautiful earth goddess with all the animals. Makes me think of the Empress here. But let's look at the card we drew for you, which is wisdom, number 22. Let's see what the oracle has to say for you, and perhaps it will give us a question for your reading today. Wisdom is more than mere knowledge. There may be something you aren't seeing and need to research more thoroughly. Wisdom is gathered, but it takes time. Learn from your experience. You might wish to ask the opinion of a wise mentor if you are uncertain. I use my knowledge and experience to make wise decisions. It is often said that the body has its own innate wisdom. If healthy, it just knows what to do and does what it needs to keep us alive and moving without thinking too much about it. Most of the time, we aren't aware of trying to keep our heart beating or of breathing when asleep. Similarly, we have this innate reasoning system, intuition, that allows us to get answers or receive information without conscious thinking. It's that feeling or hunch of information or insight that is just there. Some people believe this is the wisdom we receive from the gods, the very spark of the divine voice that is left within us. This is a very old kind of wisdom that sits in a very old part of the brain. Then there is the gathering of knowledge and experience and what we discern and learn from this. If the result has acuity, it is successful in the real world and good in sense and perception. It's most probably wise. The getting of wisdom takes time usually, and we can be impatient for it. We might cut corners and not see the role we take in our own poor decision making. To me, though, as modern people, we have millennia of wisdom to assist us. Human history has some very wise people starring in it, and some not so wise. So we have plenty of examples from which to learn. Gathering wiser people around us is in fact one of the wisest things anyone can do. We cannot always know it all, and a wise mentor or friend can not only save us from a poor decision, but also demonstrate how to be wise if we aren't quite there yet. Okay, so this is a reading about wisdom, seeking of guidance, book learning versus experience. Let's see. What wisdom do the cards want to bring to you today, my Pisces friends? My fellow water signs. Let's see. I'm going to start out here with Klimt's Tarot. Sort of a gorgeous, weird deck. I just felt like that was the deck I wanted to start with for you. I learned that Pisces are creative, artsy types. Klimt made sense to me. Okay, so let's see. We're going to start with 7 cards, and then we'll clarify with the Light Seers deck. Okay. First card we're going to draw is about your recent past. And we get, in your recent past, the Knight of Swords. Yes, this is intellectual. This is, so this kind of goes with this wisdom. Truth is represented by the sword, as is the element of air, which is associated with blood, which I see in the red background here. This is an armored knight who is fast. He's not the fastest, he's the second fastest. But we often, tarot readers often emphasize the speediness, and sometimes that this knight can be angry, perhaps violent. I see a protected person. And I learned that Pisces, because you're so sensitive, can become very protected because people have taken advantage of your generous, sensitive hearts. We'll find out more about that. In the present, we see the Ace of Wands here against the green background. This woman in a red dress. The Ace of Wands is a new beginning, a new idea, creativity, passion, willpower, sort of a new start today. So going from a Knight of Swords in the recent past to an Ace of Wands in the present. Hidden energy is a 5 of Swords. These cards are just gorgeous. This is hidden. It's not necessarily available to you, but the 5 of Swords is here represented by a woman looking over her shoulder. She seems to be hiding something. The 5 of Swords is very often about integrity and questioning whether you have achieved victory through the fairest means. So there's some kind of question of motive here in the 5 of Swords, some deceit, some winning, sort of the means justify, or the ends justify the means. But it also is about finding your integrity. So this is in the background around you, and just look at that gorgeous background here. Oh, I see something peeking through the swords there over her head, that golden abstract figure. Okay, again, that's another air card, another intellect card, and it's about truth, knowledge, wisdom. Okay, so you, my friend, are represented here as the Chariot. That is your sister sign Cancer's card. It is about powerful momentum. Look at you, again, against that night sky, reaching up, making your mark, much like this image that we saw here. Riding that chariot. She is holding a wand up to the sky, and I find her hair, her nakedness important, but also that she has her eyes closed. To me, this suggests that she is following into her intuition. She's looking inward for this powerful momentum that is represented by the chariot. This is perhaps you were stuck, but you are no longer stuck. You are now moving on. Okay, all right. This is kind of a new deck for me when I just want to look at this. The person or people in your life are represented by the Knight of Cups, this classy love offer, this it's a real love offer. So this person is comes from the cups, just like you, a water sign or a good feeler, and they are willing to ride that knight forward and to carry that offer of love. So unlike the previous knight that we see here, whose head and face are concealed, this Knight of Swords, this knight, your friend or person and people in your life, goes without his helmet. That makes me think of a moment in Fairy Queen when Britomart, who falls in love with a boy in a mirror, she decides that the strategy that she must take in order to pursue this love, who is such a great love, even though she just saw him in Merlin's magical mirror, she is wounded with love, and so she must go out into the magical woods and seek Artegall, who is her true love, and to do so she disguises herself as a knight, and they fight several times, and she wins every time. And in the last scene, he knocks her helmet from her head, and it is at that moment her hair falls out of her helmet, and he sees that she is this beautiful woman, not an adversary at all, but his true love, and he falls on his knees and of her makes a religion. And so that removal of the helmet, of the mask, of the guy, of the disguise, in order to bring love and to discover love, is what I see in this card, representing the person in your life, the Knight of Cups. Your advice is the Fool. So the Fool is about a beginner. It's about just take a leap of faith. This is a funny Fool. I don't quite understand why the artist or whoever put this deck together chose this image. It makes me think of the embarrassment that can happen when you just leap off without really knowing where you're going to land. You could embarrass yourself. He's naked, which very often suggests vulnerability. Right? There's your nakedness riding the chariot is very powerful. The vantage point from below, this powerful beauty. She's not. Her hips are thrust forward. She's just kind of in her body without presenting it to the viewer, although we are certainly looking at her from below, and she is in power. In contrast, your advice tells you to take this position, also vulnerable. He's frail. So there's a kind of weakness in this vulnerability, that his genitals are exposed. He's embarrassed. But so don't be afraid to take these leaps of faith, to be a fool. That's your advice. We will find out more. So, yeah, I'm not totally clear of what's happening yet. It will unfold as we keep clarifying. The future is a 9 of Swords. Okay, so this is you or some kind of future stress. So I don't know, maybe you don't want to take the advice of this if this is the future. 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is kind of anxiety and worry. So you've been a fool, you've taken a leap of faith, and the future presents itself as a 9 of Swords. But that is also the kind of end of getting out of your head. You know, you must at some point exhaust the head trip that you're on in order to move on out of the painful situation. Yeah, so I see power in you. I see a new Ace of Wands, new start. I see this sort of classy love offer, this Knight of Cups in your life. Some question of integrity. There's a lot of swords here. So there's something about truth and integrity and you moving forward in a way through what seems to be an anxiety-provoking situation. So this is, if we're thinking about wisdom, this is wisdom that is clearly born of swords. Let's keep looking. Interesting. So I'm going to clarify with the light seers, see whether we can crack open your story a little bit further, Pisces. And you're definitely appearing here in a very powerful way. Okay, Knight of Swords. We get the King of Wands, this lion of a person, this leader, this physical will. He's strong. He's of the element of fire, creativity, passion. That's your recent past. In addition, we have Ten of Wands. This is you're working really hard in the past. Perhaps time to finish that hard work. Lots of wands here with this Knight of Swords. And finally, we get a Four of Pentacles. This is a card about control, kind of keeping what you have to yourself, your Four Pentacles. This woman has worked hard for her pentacles. She is proud of of this purse. She's protective of it. I see this actually as a positive in this deck because I see her as a woman of color. And perhaps like rich elite people would think Four Pentacles, how silly to cling to that. But she has worked hard and is proud of her hard-earned pentacles. So there is a sense here in this Knight of Swords, in your past, of passion, of hard work, of pride. Yeah, and I think that coming from that pride and that passion and that sense that you worked hard and you've earned what you've made, is there is a fiery, angry kind of feel about something there. I feel social justice kind of in your recent past, that you have worked for justice. And this has to do with, that seems very clear. I think because she appears, because he appears, this is definitely about, I want to say racial justice, but there is a powerful truth that has been carried or come to you in the past, and it has to do with the work of social justice. So very cool, awesome. And now in the present, you are in a new beginning, a new passion, a new Ace of Wands. Because the Ten of Wands appeared in the past, that you get now an Ace of Wands that follows, right? You finish with the 10, you start something new. So you've done some work, or the work has produced this revelation, and it has charged you in the past with that ferocious, quick, sword-carrying, armored, strong attitude of the Knight of Swords. So here you are, you have a new beginning, and we can see it is a quite different vibe, from red to green, from masculine to feminine, but still in the realm of wands, creativity, passion, embodiment. So what else? Okay, so in the present, there is a feeling of poverty, of being outside. Five of Pentacles is that you're left out in the cold, but look, there's a lock and there's a key lying right there. So this is a perspective shift that you can take. You just need to look up and pick up that key and open that door, which is, I think, this new idea here. So you accomplished something in the past, and you're proud of that Four of Pentacles. But then you get into the Five of Pentacles. So it's time to pick up this new idea. We also get the Six of Pentacles. This is about material reciprocity, giving, taking, charity. So this is in your present. 4, 5, 6 of Pentacles, and 3 of Cups. There is some kind of this friendship. It can also be about reconciliation in the present. The celebration with friends as well in the 3 of Cups. It's an emotional togetherness here. So I see this new idea, and it has to do with being further of service. Once you realize that you can look up and open that door, you'll be called to be of service, but you get to do it with other people who are kindred spirits. This 3 of Cups, people that are of the same heart and feeling. And I think that's a change for you, because in the recent past, I see solitary figures, right? That armored up knight. But with this new Ace of Wands, we can see that she has bared her breasts. This is a kind of symbol of opening her heart, of feminine vulnerability, a shift in your, definite shift towards a feminine side of you. Okay, so looking at what's going on in the background, that's because we see her background. So let's see what is going on here that is causing you to wonder, or that is somehow going to come up, something about integrity, truth, and doing things in a way that make you proud, instead of ways that get you an easy win, but maybe not in a way that feels good. Okay, so more information on that. There's a 8 of Swords in your background. This is, you feel trapped, but in fact that is an illusion. That's just how you see your situation. So you might be coming across this lack of integrity, and the person or the wherever this lack of integrity is manifesting, they're going to tell you that they don't have a choice, but in fact they do. You're going to see that. I kind of think this is somebody else around you, not you, who's coming up with this. But if you're going, you could be the person who feels like you don't have a choice but to do something dishonest, unkind, brutal, and it's going to hurt you. There is a 9 of Pentacles also in the background. This is complete self-sufficiency. You can actually look, this person has integrity. She knows who she is. She's comfortable on her own, and therefore she doesn't need to please others. The bird in the image represents the kind of truth, that she looks to herself for truth. This is about her integrity and her autonomy and her comfort in solitude. So this is right next to the 8 of Swords. We get the 9 of Pentacles. These are opposite feelings. It sort of reiterates that a person feels trapped, but in fact they have integrity available to them, and they feel better when they operate that way. And then there is a taking leave of a situation that is emotionally unfulfilling, right? So let's see. We're clarifying the 5 of Swords, and we get your perception that you're trapped, or somebody's perception that they're trapped, and so therefore they have to act without integrity. The actual fact is they're perfectly safe and secure in their solitude, following their integrity, and that there is a taking leave that comes as a result of seeing that you're free and fine on your own, and walking away from this situation, walking away from this vulnerability from behind, right? When you do something wrong, it makes you vulnerable to judgment, to criticism. It does leave you naked before the world, instead of in this complete self-sufficiency, this beautiful, powerful image of a woman secure in her solitude. Yeah, and this is a walking away on a spiritual quest for that sun rising there on the horizon. Even though it looks like you got this Ace of Cups here, that you're walking away, notice there should be 7 other cups sinking below the surface of the water there. And what is missing, and the reason why you need to leave and go to the next stage is that you actually are seeking the 9th cup that brings you the emotional equal of the 9 of Pentacles, which is material 3D security in your solitude, to that individual emotional fulfillment that is the 9 of Cups here. So this is in your background, right? You have presently you have this Ace of Wands. You're going to be called to some sort of charitable work with others who are kindred spirits. And somewhere in the background, I don't see this in the same situation, actually. I see perhaps that you're walking away from another situation with a person lacking integrity, and that you have felt trapped. Oh, that's interesting, because that came up in your last reading, a kind of obligation and a sense of 8 of Swords, sense of being trapped. But there is now very clearly available to you a sense of that 9 of Pentacles, I'm good, and willingness to go, that is the 8 of Cups. And so we get to you appearing in our reading appropriately after, if that's what's happening, you getting on your chariot and riding away after being stuck. The chariot's a beautiful identity to take when there has been this 8 of Swords. So if you're stuck now, you're gonna move, or something like that. This is all background, unseen as yet in your story, so it should be in your future. But timing in tarot will vary. This could be an old story for you. In which case, go watch something else. You've lived through this. We've got some hard stuff ahead here. But let's find out. Okay, what are you riding towards? We have a Knight of Cups. That's good. Who are you? Who are you, my chariot friend? Okay, yeah. Further reiteration of movement. So the chariot is riding away, and so is the 6 of Swords. Specifically, the 6 of Swords swords are of the mind, of truth, of intellect, of air, and hence the ravens that are pulling her boat. This is the air sign. So 6 of Swords means you're leaving behind old ideas, right? The 5 of Swords is the previous card. This idea that you have to do things in a way that kind of sucks. You don't have a choice. 6 of Swords is the next card. So you are in the 6 of Swords, meaning you're ready to move, which you're the chariot, of course you're ready to move. From stormy seas to calmer waters, from one story into a story that's actually going to work better for you. So that's a good place to be. You are also 7 of Pentacles, this patient, gentle person who works hard and waits for the fruits of their labor to bloom, to grow. He's just caring for this little plant. And thirdly, you are 4 of Cups. So this is you. There is a beautiful Ace of Cups behind you, right? That's why the 8 of Cups, she's walking away in the underlying message here. She's still mourning this 3 of Cups, this past loss, which she doesn't have, some sort of self-pity. But as soon as she turns and looks behind her, she's got love. Yeah, so you are in transition, Pisces. You're in transition. It's a powerful transition. There's a lot of momentum behind it. And you're going, you're growing. Seven of Pentacles, that image makes me think of you growing and shifting perspective is what you're going to be able to do this month or in the time period in which you watch this. So let's see more about this beautiful Knight of Cups. Britomart with her helmet knocked off, bringing the cup of love to her sweetheart in the magical woods. Who is this person to you? Or maybe there are more people. Let's see. It seems important. So far, it's a very solitary journey, except for what we've seen here with the Three of Cups, that you are currently working with your kindred spirits. Okay, who is this Knight of Cups? Okay, we also get the Page of Cups. Youthful, fun, creative, crushy, sort of a immature energy, but I think this is such a fun, imaginative, dreamy person here. The Page of Cups. Also, the Ten of Pentacles. Very mature, has lots of security. This person brings home the Pentacles. Very 3D success. Could be your family, could be a group of people. There's a dog involved. And Ace of Swords. So honesty, truth, intellect here. So if this could be multiple people around you, or it could be an individual. This individual is romantic. They're also solid, financially, materially grounded, and they're intelligent, intellectual people or person. Knight of Cups. I can see why it's a classy love offer. Both there's romantic with the sort of the bring home the bacon, and also deep, smart, right? They've got quite the mind. So we know that you have an Ace of Cups. We've seen you're kind of moving towards emotional fulfillment. So these people or this person would seem to be good company for that journey into the next stage. You're being advised to be like the Fool. To be unafraid of leaping off. It's often a person just walking off the edge, full of faith. The beginner, to live life from a beginner's perspective. Pisces, you're the oldest sign in the zodiac, so I like being around Pisces because you're wise. To me, wisdom epitomizes that Pisces experience of a sign that's like the 12th sign. And then we get to Aries and talk about fools. They're constantly learning the same lesson over and over. And so therefore, they are like the Fool. They're so very fun to be around. And what comes to my head is a saying that the advice I've been given, which is stay green and growing. And this is a part of you. Stay green and growing. Nurture the newness, that new perspective as you ride off on your chariot. So let's find out more. The Fool. We have you ascending from one situation to another. The card of Judgment. We're called up to the next level. This is definitely leap off like the Fool, but rise to your higher self. Or trust that when you take this leap, you will fly. Okay, the Fool again. Lest we doubt that you should act crazy, open, lean out over the edge. Don't worry about dropping that purple jewel that she's holding down into that portal, into the next life. Wow, and both these images, they go very well together. This Fool figure and this dancing spirit that is rising up out of your chest here. Yay, don't be cynical, although you're going off with a lot of momentum and maturity and wisdom from your sorrow. You're doing it like a silly heart, young, free. And there's a Two of Cups. This is a new love, a new companionship. It could be, I keep getting these love stories today. So that could be, say yes to this love. You know, be a fool. Don't be so guarded and protected and wounded, right? Remember, you were just working really hard. You're very tired. You're kind of protected in the recent past. You do have a new Ace of Wands here. Sense of being trapped. You're just being asked to walk away from that like a fool. And Two of Cups, you know, it's new, reciprocal, equal. Remember, you're working for social justice in the past. And the Two of Cups for me in this deck with the hands, the rainbows, like to me this card does speak of social equality as well. But maybe you're being told that in order to rise to the next level in this pursuit of social justice, have an open fool's mind. Maybe forget what you think you know. Right? Yes, that's what the Six of Swords says. Forget what you think you know. You're going to let go of the old story. There's a new way of looking at the world that is available to you now, right? Look from the Three Cups to that rainbow right behind you. Yes. And this is going to take you into the next level. Okay, the future is the Nine of Swords. Let's find out more about that. That seems like, can I have another future, please? And yes, you do have free will. The future changes. But the cards today say that this is the future at the moment. So why are we anxious? Why are we in insomnia? There's more collaboration. This is building something together with others. Okay. You're a bit of a loner, so maybe that's uncomfortable. You know, you're very good at listening and being present for others, but, right, you're guarded. You're protected in person, and you seem very solitary in this. You have this Knight of Cups in your life, this Ten of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Ace of Swords, this honest, romantic, secure person or people in your life, and there's collaboration here, but perhaps it caused you anxiety to collaborate. Your perspective is going to change. The Hangman, you're gonna have to wait. This is definitely a place where it makes sense to be in a Nine of Swords. So you can either hang in the future. It's really out of your control how long you hang. You really hang till you change your mind. Yeah, I see why you have anxiety in the future. And I'm sorry, but we're not going to get to know very much. The Moon, this is a mystery. We don't really know the future in this. It's uncomfortable, not because it isn't going to be great, like we get a little glimpse that there's going to be collaboration in the future. But first, you have to go through some anxiety because you're going to be in this state, hanging out in the Moon, in the mystery. You know, the Moon is your card, Pisces. So maybe that's a comfortable place for you to be, underwater, dreamy, sort of in that psychic, creative, loose, fluid place. So when the Hangman is followed by the Moon. The Hangman says your perspective is going to shift, and when it shifts, you'll be in your card. That's one way to look at this. Yeah. You are being advised to take a leap of faith, and because we don't know what the future is, other than that it involves working with others and building something together, because you're going to be in the Hangman and the Moon, that is why you must take this leap of faith. You are going on to a more fulfilling existence, right? You're leaving old world views, old ideas, old stories. You're doing it on your chariot powerfully with momentum. You get to ride with this fellow. That's a good person to ride with. I think, though, this person in your life, you are, and I just see this just now, you are the chariot. You are turned away from your Knight of Cups. I feel like you're ambivalent about this other person, this collaboration. It might even be the same one that you're already in. This is you in the present, right? This new collaboration is stressing you out because you're a loner. But you're going to need to change your perspective. You need to be a fool. You need to totally leap out into the unknown. And the cards are so sure that you need to do this. They're just giving you the Moon and the Hangman in your future. The only clue we have is it's going to be stressful to work with others. But do it. Leap, 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 leap. Be the fool. This is a very anxious fool. Okay? So that is your story. I would love to hear what you thought of it. If this makes sense to you and where you're at. If you're feeling this, and then this sort of, you're very intuitive, Pisces. So this the shift from, this background energy of Five of Swords and the need to kind of walk away from that to get out of your sense of being trapped. This momentum that you're feeling, some kind of momentum. If you're waiting to know where you're headed, don't, just go. It's going to change your mind. It's going to change your whole story about who you are and what you do. And you're going to still get to do this social justice work, right? There's another clue we get. You still get to do this heart, love-based, just work that is for the greater good. But you don't yet know how, and it's going to challenge you because you're going to have to work with others. That is my prediction for you, Pisces, and I hope it helps. All right, have a great day.